Unbelievable developments right now in the precious metals markets. The silver price, the gold price, just getting started. We're going to look at the reasons why. We're going to look at examples why we can confidently say that's the case. But we're also going to look at a big warning from Robert Kiyosaki and a hidden message in his warning that tells us we're in good shape when it comes to silver and gold. The best shape we're in right now is that you're joining me down here in the basement. I really appreciate you choosing to be here. I hope you feel like you're part of the community, part of the basement. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment in the comment section, give us an opportunity to learn from you, and please come back and join us. Let's get started by some big news on Friday when it comes to silver. It was the highest monthly close ever for the silver price. Why does that matter? I'm going to show you right now. Very important that we take a look at this wonderful piece of artwork. That is the cup and handle pattern that we have in silver. And guys, remember this pattern, right? Here's the cup starting back in 1979 when we had around $50 silver, forming a big cup going all the way up to 2011, where we went through a little down period, right? We went through the desert and created a handle. So as you can see, right, here's the cup, here's the handle. Okay, remember something very critical. This is one of the most reliable, one of the most looked at technical analysis chart patterns in the world. And the longer the period of time that the pattern forms over, the more reliable, the more predictable, the more powerful the breakout is. And when we look right here, let's draw one more time. And like we just said, this is weekly closes, but as you can see right here, we broke out and we should continue to go higher and higher and higher. Now look, all that's great, but we've got other big, major developments, as you probably have already heard ad nauseum, going on in the paper markets, at the COMEX in the United States of America, in the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association in London. Big dislocations, big problems. Backwardation is back. And what that means, right, is that right now in the futures market in New York, silver is more expensive than it is in the spot market. The last I checked, it was about 50 cents. That tells us something very important, and that is that people are worried about getting their hands on the physical silver. Let's look at a couple big examples that show us also that what's happened in the last week or so has been nothing more than a papering over, pardon the pun, of the problem. Let's go out and take a look at a couple great pieces of evidence. This first one comes to us from Eric Yuan, King Kong 9888. He says also the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the Shanghai Futures Exchange silver vaults combined now have less than 1,600 metric tons, only around 51 million troy ounces of physical silver. Robert Gottlieb just said that the LBMA needs at least another 120 million troy ounces of silver to get back to normalcy. Good luck, LBMA. And why are we wanting to pay attention to this? Very simply, guys, they are papering over the problem. I'm hearing reports that by December, the hens could come home to roost, let's say, for the LBMA. They've been doing this for years. They've been doing this for centuries. But the big key thing we want to remember is the fact that at the end of the day, right, they've manipulated the price of silver down over and over and over, and they can only last for so long. It's like holding a beach ball under water. Let's go out to another piece of evidence that shows us that there's stress out there in the markets. And make sure we got you on the right screen, which we do. Another one from King Kong 988. This, he points out that Bruce Ikemizu, David Jensen, and my China sources are all saying the same thing. The LBMA is literally living on borrowed time via leased physical silver, and they will have to return. This time This time they're doing it in a deteriorating physical silver supplies condition. What's critical about this is, and let's look at what Bruce said here. Bruce pointed out about the contango and the backwardation, but he said, but the deficit of silver in the silver market is still there, and upward price pressures stay for a long term. What they are pointing out is that they can paper over the problem all they want, but we know there is a structural deficit in the silver market right now. And when these hens come home to roost, when the beach ball comes up from being held underwater, we could see silver prices like we could only imagine. Next, let's go to see what Robert Kiyosaki is saying. He's putting out a big, big warning. Now, remember, Robert Kiyosaki is a very wealthy man. He's also a best-selling author of books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he's saying something, giving us a big warning, but also a message about gold and silver. Let's head out to his post. And here we go. Robert Kiyosaki puts this out just 2 days ago. Massive crash beginning. Millions will be wiped out. Protect yourself with silver. What's he put first in the list? Notice that. Gold, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Investors will protect you. Take care. So there's a lot of talk right now about a potential for a crash in the market. We know just how screwed up everything is out there. But what he's telling us, right? And there's also a lot of chatter right now about this Hindenburg omen, which is a big crash indicator omen that compares the number of stocks that are hitting 52-week highs to the number of stocks hitting 52-week lows. But what's the hidden message? What's the message from Robert Kiyosaki? It is protect yourself with silver and gold. Next, we have big stories, 4 of them from around the world that tell us, these are examples showing us that this historic move in metals, this new paradigm that we are in right now, is only in the beginning, only gaining steam. Before we do that, I do want to say thank you to channel sponsor, First Mint. They're a mint located in Las Vegas, Nevada, where they produce world-class silver bullion products. But they get their silver from a very interesting source because they are owned by First Majestic Silver. So First Majestic mines the silver in Mexico, sends it to Las Vegas, Nevada, where it's transformed into these products that are then sent directly to you, from the mine to the mint to you. They have all unique products. You can check them out at firstmint.com. There's a discount code, VIPRB. Very important person, Ron's Basement, VIPRB, and free shipping on orders over $299. I'm getting unbelievable positive response from our community in terms of their interactions with First Mint. So First Mint, right there, guys, firstmint.com. Thank you for sponsoring Ron's Basement and allowing us all to get together. Now let's go for a little trip around the world, because remember, silver, gold, those are worldwide assets everywhere in the world. We're not just talking about certain countries where they're valuable. They're valuable everywhere. They're worldwide markets. They're old markets. And we are getting some astonishing stories from all around the world. Let's go out here and look at this one from the Moscow Times. Headlines: Russians snap up record amounts of gold as sanctions reshape their savings habits. And I'm seeing all types of different charts and information about this, but basically the Russian people have been buying up gold like there is no tomorrow. Let's go out to our next one here. What about the world central banks? And this comes from Bloomberg, okay? Wall Street Mav, even with gold prices at $4,000 per ounce, all-time highs, central banks continue to buy more. What's going on? What are they preparing for? It's a mystery. Ha ha. Not really. They know. And again, this comes from Bloomberg, right? The mainstream of mainstream media. And the headline says simply, central banks step up gold purchases despite record high prices. And you know, what's good for gold is good for silver. And what about China? Oh, I'm sure China's slowing down, right? Let's watch this great video. that gives us some insight into what is going on at the Chinese gold and silver markets. This is the Shenzhen Shubai gold market on Saturday, just yesterday, around 5 o'clock p.m., crowded with shoppers as usual. All right, let's take a look at this.
今天是周六啊，但是今天周六市场人流量出奇的多，都5点多了，客流量还一批一批的往负一楼下。来看一下今天水贝汇的价格，今天黄金销售932，回收902，价格稍微跌一点啊，这人流量呢就增加很多。这要是再跌到这个500-600的时候，那市场人流量更不得了。你们说还有这个可能吗？
抖音。
今天是周六啊。
All right, guys. And what else, right? So like he says, the flow of people is increasing everywhere in the world. People are buying gold. People are buying silver. We got so much more. What about one more from King Kong, who tells us simply this? Okay, because we've already covered Russia. We've already covered China. We've covered the world central banks. Now, King Kong 9888 says this: wow, good luck LBMA, get ready to get wrecked. Here's a statement. My friend, who has a lot of contacts with central bankers, just told me the Gulf cooperation countries, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, just bought another 33.5 billion of gold this morning, and that the Bank of Korea bought 8 billion. He used to deal in U.S. treasuries with these guys. So, guys, everywhere throughout the world, we're getting these unbelievable stories, but believable and factual stories that the world is moving. This is not just a United States thing. Really, it barely is a United States thing. This is a worldwide move into precious metals. Next, we're going to look at a headline, big article from Time Magazine. Remember Time? Now, who reads Time Magazine? We'll talk about that. I'll give you a hint. But before we do that, I also want to say thank you to channel sponsor First Mining Gold. They're right there. They've sponsored my channel for years, but I've owned the stock even before they sponsored the channel. They're a development stage gold mining company with 2 huge multi-million ounce projects in Canada, Springpole in Ontario and Duparquet located in Quebec. You can learn more about them at firstmininggold.com, and you can reach out to their Director of Investor Relations, Paul Morris, at paul@firstmininggold.com. What if Time Magazine is putting out articles about gold, right? Who reads Time Magazine? Look, they're the people who generally don't invest in gold and silver, but what it's telling us is something very important, and that is that the mainstream media is now starting to cover the gold and silver movement and doing it in a big way. Let's go out here to Time, where we get the headline, Ray Dalio, gold is the safest money. We've covered all of this ad nauseum, guys, but the big takeaway here, right, is that the US dollar is going down in value, and that things like gold and silver are going to help protect all of us as we move into the coming months, quarters, and years. But who reads Time Magazine? Because remember, only about 2 out of 100 people in the United States actually invest in physical gold and silver. It's those other 98 people out of 100 who don't. What do we refer to those people as? They're the sheeple. You got to excuse me. I've been battling a little bit of an illness, so my sheeple voice instrument isn't quite as sharp as usual. But when these people come into the precious metals in the United States, and I believe it's bound to happen, it is going to be a flood. There will be no more silver, no more gold at your local coin shop, right? People will be scrambling to find the precious metals. Now, look, I don't have a crystal ball, but I've been following this sector for decades, and that's what I see happening. Always do your own research. Always do your own due diligence. Remember, I'm not a financial planner, but I am your friend down here in the basement who we are together on a wild, wild, fun ride when it comes to precious metals. Okay, I'm going to look forward to seeing you back here again in the basement. Don't forget, please subscribe to the channel. Be good to yourself, and I'll look forward to seeing you. Yes, you.